Wait, before you watch this video, me and Wendigo have a new podcast called Creepcast, where we go over SCPs, creepypasta, just general scary stories, cryptids, all that kind of jazz, just weird internet stuff that's scary, spooky, and fun. We got a lot of great feedback on the Ted the Caver video, so we decided to make a podcast. So, if you're interested, please click the link in the description, or we'll leave a link in the comments as well. Go check it out there. We appreciate your support, and thanks for watching. Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? Today we were gonna do a whole thing with Are You Afraid of the Dark? We were gonna do the top 10 episodes, but then all of the titles mixed in with us illegally watching them on various websites and even them trying to watch them legally on other sites. None of the titles and actual episode numbers correlated correctly, so we kind of just said, screw it, we're gonna do just 5 random episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Which, if you don't know Are You Afraid of the Dark, it was the Goosebumps before Goosebumps. It came out in 1990, and it was pretty much people being like, why don't we make as gruesome of horror as we can for children? Which just means them basically not showing people like titty coming, blood, beaten dogs. Don't worry, there is animal abuse in this episode, don't you worry. They're in a group called the Midnight Society, and it's like a very exclusive club. It's hard to get into, apparently. But people are sitting around a fire and they're telling spooky stories, and then they do the classic thing where he's like, this is about a bicycle that'll fucking kill you, and he grabs a handful of chemicals and he's like, ah! And they start a forest fire, and all 4 of them burn alive. This video is brought to you by Purity Debt Solutions. I always wish there was a better solution to pay off all this debt. I was homeless, I was broke, I didn't have any fucking money, I was poor! The stress and pressure that debt causes can be absurd. Even if you make payments, you gotta have a solution, you gotta have a plan. If you don't have a plan, then all of a sudden the interest stacks up. If you don't know what interest is, you're up creek as it is. You think that you're in debt, but you're paying more than what you even owe. What? Purity Debt Solutions has customized options to help you deal with credit cards, personal loans, collections, medical bills. With the help of their debt analysis and debt plan, you can save thousands in interest and fees in a matter of months. Anyone with $10,000 or more in eligible debt qualifies, and there is no minimum credit score required. And they accept bad and fair credit. Purity Debt Solution rolls all of your debt into one low monthly payment so you can pay off your debt quicker and get back to living your life debt-free. Right now, Purity Debt Solutions is offering a free debt analysis. It only takes 30 seconds. Head over to pdsdebt.com/papameat to get your free debt assessment today. That's pdsdebt.com/papameat. Thank you, Purity Debt Solutions, for sponsoring this video, and back to the video. This show is certainly no Goosebumps. When I go into this, I was very surprised by how cheap everything actually was. The sets are pretty bad. The acting is really, really bad.
Wait, for what?
When one of the episodes, I think someone gets finger fucked. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that does happen. Just keep that in mind, you know? This is no Goosebumps by any means. But let's dive into Are You Afraid of the Dark? Which our first episode is The Shiny Red Bike, which starts with 2 boys, Ricky and Mike, and they're riding down into a quarry, basically. And you get a guy who is in a golf cart or some shit, and he gets up and puts a handle and is immediately opening what can only be assumed to be a floodgate. Basically, they go down to this old rickety bridge and they're watching all the water rush, and he's just like, wow, it'd sure be crazy if one of us, immediately falls in. The kid is like trying to hold on to his buddy for dear life. You see his bicycle fall into the water. And then there he goes, immediately, child death, right at the very beginning of this episode. Goosebumps wouldn't do that. They'd be a lot more tasteful. They would probably wait the entire time before they're like, did the kid die? I don't know. This one, it's like, nope, child drowned immediately. Mike wakes up, who is now older, in a cold sweat, and I'm just guessing for the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 years, has just been having horrible, horrible night terrors almost every night. He's having breakfast with his family, and they're all just kind of like grilling him for feeling guilty over this death.
You have to stop knocking yourself around over his death.
Well, one thing you can do, Mike, is stop blaming yourself for Ricky's death, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Keep out of this.
Are you gonna feel guilty your whole life, you little piece of shit? After this lovely family breakfast, Mike decides to go to school. He sees a bicycle that looks very familiar. Mike gets a little flustered, but I think he kind of waves it away. He's like, oh, it's just a coincidence. Nope, Ricky sees the ghost of his dead friend in the classroom. All of the kids get up and they circle around him, and they're like, yo, Mike, you gotta calm down, man. Maybe the nurse will be a little more sympathetic. Nope, the nurse is just as unforgiving to him as everybody else has been. And then his dad picks him up from school and he's just like, Jesus, Mike, you're a fucking nut. And he's just like scolding him like everybody else is. And Mike sees a person riding a red bicycle. And you get the funniest part in the episode where he says, stop the car. Stop the car. Jesus Christ. The dad immediately comes to a screeching stop. Turns out to be just a tiny lesbian, not a ghost. They go home, the dad's like, you're going to bed, even though it's 3:30 in the afternoon. Which by this point in the episode, I've seen Mike in his bed probably 12 fucking times. If I see this little fuck roll over in his bed again, I'm gonna fucking freak out. Finally, our hero gets to relax in the comfort of his dreams. Just kidding, Ricky's there. I like to think that the director was like, all right, sorry, buddy, you're gonna have to get back into bed. I'm not tired anymore. He's like, your character is. The director freaks out on him. We get the next day, the camera kind of is creeping up the staircase. Turns out that it's just Mike's little snot-nosed shit little brother trying to get Mike to go on a fishing trip or something. And he's like, he never misses a fishing trip. Dad looks like he just got done fucking. He's like putting on his polo and like buttoning himself up. His mom just like got done licking his dad's taint and asshole and stuff. Buddy, yeah, we're gonna have to go for a drive. I need to air out my goods real quick. That's what he does. And Ben, like the kind-hearted man he is, he tries waking up his brother with some rocks, which that doesn't wake up Mike. But what does wake up Mike is Ricky's ghost. He's back. And this time he's had enough. He puts on his pants like a big man and he's just like, ghost, if you want me, well, then I'm gonna let you have it. And then he catches up to the ghost and he's like, your brother's gonna die probably. And Mike's like, well, gee willikers, I gotta get down there. We come back to Ben. He's with, like, they look like they fucking hate Ben, which I don't blame him. I hate Ben too, but still.
Isn't that where your brother's friend got killed?
Jesus. God, dude. Hey, isn't that where your brother's friend got killed? Yeah, thanks for being so sensitive about it. They call him, names and shit. They ball tap him. Ben knocks over one of their soda cans, and the kids rip the bob, throw it in the quarry. And he's like, guys, come on. And they're like, get the fuck out of here, loser. So Ben, like the dumbass he is, goes in the quarry, and he gets stuck in a pile of rocks. I don't know how. Wait, what? I think the shooting times were extremely limited. How am I supposed to get stuck down here? You step. You took a step, okay? Just keep rolling, keep rolling. Ricky gives Mike this shaman-esque story, and he's like, here, take my bike. As the water is flooding towards Ben, who is stuck, but Mike, thank God, gets him out of the quarry in time, and he saves the day. And then the kid afterwards like,
The very next day, a man who was fishing found the remains of Ricky Haggerty.
I was like, what? Jesus Christ. In that one, if I had to shoot from the hip on the shiny red bike, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. It was okay. The audio mixing was terrible. What? You couldn't hear anything. It's basically muffled, and they did not try at all to salvage that audio. Oh! The next episode we watched was Tale of the Dollmaker! We're getting pretty good here. And essentially, this episode is about Melissa. She's staying at her aunt and uncle's. Usually she has a buddy that lives next door, but it's fucking gone. I feel like they don't know how to tell her that that place is like evil, that they're just like, if you go over there, you're gonna get abducted by a man in a van. She punches a hole in the window. What the fuck? She gets like stuck in a dollhouse world, and her friend is there, and she's just like, we're never going to leave, Melissa. And the longer you're in there, the more doll-like you turn, which is kind of metal. I like that. I thought that was nice. Melissa's trying to find a way out of the dollhouse. She's slowly turning into a doll. Melissa's sitting in the dollhouse too, and she sees her aunt walking through there, and she's like, Aunt, help me. But too bad, bitch, you dug your own grave, Which she's like, there's a secret door behind this toy bookcase because that's what it's like in the real house. And she goes back and asks her friend if she can help move, and the friend is like, I can't. And she takes off her fucking hand, and it's a porcelain hand. It's pretty brutal. You're like, holy shit, dude, you're falling apart. But she goes back, and with the power of God on her side, she fucking pushes the bookcase over, goes up the steps, and as they open the door, it's to the outside world, and she's just like, we're gonna kill ourselves. and they jump out. They do like a suicide pact and they jump out, but really they're jumping back into our world. The aunt and uncle are crying again. I don't think that the aunt was meant to cry as much as she does in this episode, but let me tell you, that bitch is on the verge of tears the entire episode. And then her friend is also in the real world again too. And that's the end of the episode. All I know is that Melissa and Susan come back and the day is saved. It's a nice ending to it. The idea of getting stuck in a house and being forever stuck and turned into a doll was kind of creepy. It was a lot more creepy than a fucking ghost in a red bicycle, so I gave it a 7 out of 10. Which honestly, that's too good. 6 out of 10. That's too good. Melissa sucked.
He's no weight in the dollhouse!
Yeah, fucking dumb bitch. Didn't like even looking at her. 5 out of 10. I like Mike more than I like Melissa. 4 out of 10. But the next one is The Tale of the Dream Girl. I don't know about this one. This one felt... whatever. They work at a bowling alley. Johnny's the repairman and Erica's a waitress. This one started off very strong because I thought that there was weird incest happening.
Perfect. As usual.
And modest, too.
Did I ever tell you you're my favorite sister?
This is some sexual tension. You're like, wait, I thought you said that they were brother and sister. They kind of say it, but they're just like, Johnny, Jesus. And she like gives him hickeys and shit. No, I'm kidding. Can you imagine that? Or I suck his neck. But the whole episode is about Johnny who finds a ring and, you know, people are being very cryptic. People aren't talking to him.
Did you guys hear someone talking to me?
Oh, geez, I wonder what's gonna be the fucking big surprise in this one. This girl keeps showing up in his dreams, or he dreams about a girl who tries to make out with him and suck his cock a bit, and he wakes up and he's like, oh my God. Or he tries to meet her for a date, but it's like a weird bizarro version of the bowling alley, and it's like 1950s version. The waitress has like a Jay Leno chin and she's being really fucking weird. The girl's being all cryptid and stuff.
I want you to come with me.
Where? You just got here.
But it's almost time.
Johnny goes home and his sister's like, the girl you've been talking about, does this look like her? And he's like, yeah, that looks just like her. And she flips this newspaper up.
What?
She died in a car accident.
The fucking fold-up reveal is so good. And he's like, oh my God, wait, she's dead? Well, I've been dating a ghost? She's like, well, where do you find a ghost? And he's like, well, I know one place to look. He goes to the cemetery? I don't know if I'd ever go to a cemetery to look for a ghost, right? I feel like whenever I think ghost, I think of like their house. You know what I mean? Like a haunting thing. Yeah, or wherever they died, whatever. They go there and it's like one of the worst graveyard sets I've ever seen. You find out that Johnny was in a train wreck, but the Erica, the sister, once again, as a comedic beat, takes out the newspaper, unfolds it again. Him and his girlfriend, and that he's been dead this whole time, and that he's buried with her, which I was like, I don't know if that's the legality of 16-year-olds being buried together in the same plot. She's like, you know, I knew you were dead the whole time, but how do I tell you? Whatever, dude. And then Johnny kisses his girl in a very provocative way. I don't know. And there's like a sexy saxophone track that plays in the background. Oh my God, this saxophone. Oh my God. Jesus. I don't know. Just a lot of like underage kissing for my liking, honestly. Give it a 6 out of 10. Also, Johnny just basically proved that fucking heaven exists. So that's pretty rad too. The next one was The Tale of the Dead Man's Float. Oh, baby. This is the winner. Starts off in the 1950s. A guy is trying to finger a girl in a bathroom. She's like, my brother's in the swimming pool. Don't you want to watch him? Because he's a lifeguard. And he's like, I don't know, bitch, do you want me to leave? And she's like, no. They start like fooling around. And her brother jumps in the pool, yells, and he starts smelling something weird. The little kid is swimming alone. And it's Jay from This Is the End, and like, She's Out of Your League. It's that guy, except he's really young. Little cameo, why not? But the kid dies. Are You Afraid of the Dark? It loves child death. It loves to start episodes with children dying, and I respect the hell out of it for it. But anyways, I digress. It starts off, we get Zeke, who is our nerdy protagonist, and he likes Clarice. I like this dynamic because she's failing her chemistry class, and he's like, hey, baby, hey, I hear you're a swimmer. And she's like, yeah. He's like, I got something crazy to show you.
Watch this.
I've seen... And for some reason, he knows that behind a set of lockers, there's a fucking abandoned pool in the school. They're usually just like sniffing around the school looking for like hidden passages and shit. 3 weeks later, the pool is fully operational again because Clarice was like an advocate for it, as if any adults would give a shit what the kids want. But anyways, now they're in a raft at the pool. And as they do that, the fucking weird ghost that killed the kid at the beginning attacks them as well, uplifting the boat. They swim out, and the janitor in the school, he's like, give me your hand. And it turns out that it's the lifeguard from before.
You think he's the lifeguard from before?
I was the lifeguard.
Nope.
This pool first opened.
That was funny too. He's like, this girl I was dating, her brother drowned while I was on watch, and no one listened to me, and 3 other kids died. I was like, Jesus Christ, 4 kids fucking died in the school. No wonder they sealed it up. But then Zeke, he gets some chemistry bullshit, whatever, and he's like, if you put this in there with the acid, we'll be able to see it. He dumps some chemicals into the pool, and we get one of the most frightening things that you could have for a children's television show. It basically looks like a bloody skeleton with just like entrails and guts hanging off of it. It's actually pretty fucking horrifying. The janitor guy immediately has a heart attack.
He's in shock.
The guy's having a fucking heart attack. And the kids immediately leave though. He's in shock! Who cares? Get the hell out of here! But they're trying to fight this thing off. So then they grab some other chemicals, and to Zeke, he's like, don't touch it! Your hands are covered in water! And slaps it into the water, and he has to overcome his fear of swimming to save his girl, to save his hoe, who jumps in there first to grab it. And she puts on gloves and kills the ghost. Pretty fun. It's a nice story circle. I like that one. You got a good monster. Zeke overcomes his fear of swimming. Clarice isn't a dumb bitch anymore. And then they live happily ever after.
And she showed Zeke there were a lot more fun things to do than study all the time.
She got pregnant at 16, dashing all hopes of being an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah. And it has the most haunting costume. So, 8 out of 10. Definitely the most brutal one. I mean, for the love of God, 4 children died. Oh yeah, we tried to watch The Tale of the Door Unlocked because Ryan, the heartthrob Gosling's in it, wouldn't load. What do you do? So we got The Tale of the Chameleons, which has the girls from Sister Sister in it. Does anyone remember that show? Sister Sister! This one was weird because it had a lot of like Stay Out of the Basement vibes. The Sister girl gets bit by a chameleon, but it's an iguana. They chose chameleon. And I know why they did that is to be like, it can camouflage itself, etc., right? But they used an iguana, which is funny because iguanas run. Very funny. Look at him run off. He's like, hee 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 hee. But the chameleon iguana bites the sister.
Ow!
Oh my god.
God, Nick. Oh my god. And then it's able to transform into her. The chameleon clone sister says,
Bite you once, bite you twice. A little water, pay the price.
I don't fucking know. The whole episode is about a girl getting bit by an iguana over and over again. There's a lot of fake iguanas. They're holding iguanas. They throw the iguana around. There is a pretty brutal scene where they throw a fucking iguana into a garbage disposal.
Yes!
How sick would it be if she turned on?
Oh! Oh my god. Janice, she wants to buy like a slutty dress for her prom, but the dad's like, I'm not gonna buy you a shitty dress. But then later in the episode, they buy her another one, and then the dad says,
You look fantastic.
Should the dad be that enthusiastic?
What do you think, Sharon?
oh my god. Damn. And I was like, God, what a fucking inappropriate response to your daughter. Guys, I gotta go. I'm feeling creative.
Feeling really creative.
That's a bit inappropriate, I feel like. Whatever. Her friend that she's staying with the whole time, this bucktooth bitch, is walking around. She's just like, I think my friend's a chameleon. And at the end, she has to decide which one to spray with water. All I know is the ending starts, where it's like you have to choose which one's real. The exact same as the Stay Out of the Basement, where it's like which dad is real. Which both of these have stupid endings to where it's like you could just spray the dad with chemicals. He'd live. It doesn't matter. She sprays one of the girls, which turns one of them back to an iguana, and she's like, oh, see? Everything's fine. Yay! And it cross-dissolves and, oh, nope, she comes back to the well and picks up her iguana family. I forgot to mention that she orders iguanas. This one was a real slog to get through. I'm sorry about that. It's definitely the darkest ending where it's just like, oh, a child is drowning forever an iguana in the bottom of a well in someone's backyard. I don't know. Dark ending. I'd give it a 5. All I know is that watching Are You Afraid of the Dark has made me appreciate Goosebumps even more. Are You Afraid of the Dark walked so Goosebumps could sprint. I just wish that they cut out the campfire thing. Granted, when I was a kid, I thought the bag of like grandma ashes and fucking bleach was cool, but now I'm like, get rid of that, dude. Are you Afraid of the Dark? Honestly, it wasn't as good as I remember. I was bummed by how much it didn't hold up. Still gotta say the intro's great though. One hell of an intro. And one hell of a bop at the end credit song. I just wish it was better. Are You Afraid of the Dark? I wish it held up to, to what it used to be. Maybe I missed some episodes. Maybe people down below will know which episodes. Maybe I missed a good one. Dead Man's Float was good though. All right, I'll see you next time, guys. Bye. If I got done watching this, and my kid's like, I want to be a part of the Midnight Society, I'd slap him in the back of the head as hard as I fucking could, dude. I'd blind his ass. I'd be like, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna join the Boy Scouts. And you're gonna become a Marine just like your grandfather and his grandfather before him. What was I talking about?